I cannot even do another picture.
Volunteer. These two young men could give this help.
Yeah, who wants help?
Do you have pins?
Yeah, here.
Pins? Okay, terrific. Josh and Ellie. I'm giving them out.
Hey,
Here. Ellie, grab a bunch. Spread them around. Here's pins. Ellie, two pins. Good. Guys.
We'll talk 2 minutes and then the rally's at 1.
Okay, yeah.
Well, do you want to just come inside over here?
Yeah, I want it.
That's all I need. No, maybe two. Now you got one.
Do you need a pen?
Skateboard ballots.
Now it's going to go
No, I want to get your picture. Okay.
Everyone over here. Thank you. Thanks. Jeremy. Come everyone. Gather round. I don't know how to use this. That's one for me. Alright. We just have one more star. You want to use this thing? Everyone, gather around. Everyone. Я попал в кадр. Больше земля.
Police are
Gather around. Everyone, please gather around.
Okay, I hear you.
all right. Oh, I got it.
Get a smaller one. Huh?
Just go ahead, you know, with my phone number.
Okay. With your phone number?
Yeah, my husband.
Oh, yeah. Very good. I was going to say
You're just looking to cause trouble.
I got the best sign.
Yeah, I'm going to in a minute. I brought towels and show bars. I'm waiting for a moment. But I'm waiting because
Silence never again. Silence never again.
Never.
On Yisrael Chai. On Yisrael Chai.
Yisrael! 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 I can do it.
Hey, why don't you? No, I'll volunteer for. Well, where's Avi? I want Avi to start. You see Avi?
He's checking if it's on internet.
What?
Right now he's checking if it's on internet.
Ah, okay. No, by the way, this will be a live, live cast. So yeah, so we're gonna have a camera here doing a live cast, and I'll send you the link.
I wanted something I gave it to you.
Come on, Ali, you want to be a leader for a year?
And I'm looking what time. I don't know.
Yeah. He's ready to have on his hair.
What does that mean?
More people.
Oh, well, we know that. Spots.
Yes or no?
¿Te imprimió el computer? No.
Yes?
See anything? What did you look again last time? Alright, where are you? thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, идет. Он идет. Окей, кто поедет со мной? Можно кто поедет, приехать за вами.
Где 12? 48-я, 50-я, 6-я авеню.
Мальчик.
Unbelievable. I think so too. Anyone, what about fractures?
Скажи, пожалуйста.
$8, you get two.
Don't give numbers because if you don't meet it, it's
Yes.
Works? Works?
What?
Works? Works?
Yeah, it's slow, but it's working.
Good afternoon. Good to see you
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Am Israel Chai. Thank you. So now we're going to start the march. This is a very historical march where the Jewish people and the friends of the Jewish people will stand against anti-Semitism. So I have one request. Does anybody want to help me with the chants and the singing?
You lead.
Alright? So what's
Come on, everybody. Am Israel, Am Israel, Am Israel, Chai. 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 Am Israel,
What's the first?
It should be never again.
Am Israel, well,
Never again. It's about what's going on in the world.
Oh, Davinu, ha. Hi. Oh, Davinu, ha. Oh, Davinu, oh, Davinu, oh, Davinu, ha. Oh, Davinu, ha. Never again, 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 never again.
Never again! Never again! Silent! Never again!
Silence never again, 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 silence never again.
Real culprits.
Silence never again, 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 silence never again. CNN lies, CNN lies, CNN lies, liars, liars, CNN liars, 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 CNN liars, 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 CNN liars. Silence, silence, never again. 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 Silence, silence, never again.
He's the guy. He has
Silence, never again. Silence.
Куда мне ехать? Куда в Киев? Вниз по Бродвею мы идем, и вниз туда, в шестую авеню, между 48 и 50.
Silence, never again. Silence, never again. Silence, never again. Silence, never again. Silence, never again.
We shout at every synagogue and just had it.
Silence, never again.
A coalition is not building a big coalition is not about having everybody who thinks 100% every issue, but people will get together larger.
What is it?
Never again, never again, never again, never again, never again, never again. Silence, 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 never again.
I like that.
Hey, Steve, don't forget. Don't forget. Never 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 forget.
We did the actually ate at that. We got two quick services. We left. We had people left. So they made out.
We want peace, no more hate.
Just
Sammy. Anti-Semitism is very wrong. We refuse to go along. Anti-Semitism is very wrong. We refuse to go along. Anti-Semitism is very wrong. We refuse to go along. Anti-Semitism is very wrong. We refuse to go along.
It's like a song.
We refuse to go along. Anti-Semitism is very wrong. We refuse to go along. Anti-Semitism is very wrong. We refuse to go along.
Guys, hold on 1 second. Go ahead, guys.
Move a little bit, just. Thank you.
Yeah, I got the meal plan. I got 2 quick services and a snack.
I think your big success is
So, are you very discouraged?
Like you can, all these stores.
Wrong. We refuse to go along. Anti-Semitism is very wrong. We refuse to go along.
I was hired this. CNN. Yes.
I know.
Silence never again. Silence never again. Silence never again. Silence never again.
Silence never again. One guest speaker canceled.
Silence never again.
There you go.
Silence never again. Silence never again.
No. It wasn't again.
Silence never again. Silence
Actually,
again. Silence never again.
What channel are you on?
Never Again Life, that's all.
All right. Your website for profit, and they would deny community organizations space at Street Festival in favor of sausage makers.
Can you check?
They could do it on the bus. All over New York. Excuse me. There you go. Right, let's make a deal.
Uptown, downtown, and over across into Brooklyn.
We need a package deal here.
We can work something out.
Майк, ты можешь компьютер включить и посмотреть, что это идет? Да, Never Again Life.com. Never Again Life.com. Позвони. Ави звонил? Да, он мне позвонил. Давай, все, Вань. Да, он позвонил. Алло. Серьезно? Ну окей, забыли, ладно. Пошел. Ну, может, компьютер у меня, ладно. Кто мне спрашивает, ты же обещал компьютер принести? Да пошел. Если ты видел, как он вообще находил час-полтора. Бай.
Silence never again! Silence never again! Silence!
Do we address the issue? I addressed the issue. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Anyway, so then I go for the job interview, and mind you, I used to work there. I thought it was one of the best interviews.
Never again. Never again. Never again.
Job if I did, I'll tell you that.
Oh my God.
I said, yeah.
It's Radio City. No, it's too late.
Anyway, I'm like a reality man. Yeah. In a very short while, I have to put a month in. Yeah, so. Yeah. Everything we went to try to get on TV, radio, newspaper.
I'm neutral. Bye. I'm neutral. Bye.
How you doing? Where you from?
From New York. Internet.
What is this for?
Silence never again. Silence never again. Silence never again. Everyone, silence never again. Silence never again. Silence never again. Silence never again. Anti-Semitism will not be tolerated. Anti-Semitism will not be tolerated.
One more. Zero tolerance.
Кабель кинул вон там, посередине кабеля.
Ты вытащи только.
Да, кабель посередине. Все, кабель посередине.
Где посередине?
Вот там, посередине.
Вот там?
That's very sweet of you. That's very sweet. All right, thank you. Okay, I should have brought. I didn't know I was going to.
Oh, no. The McCoy. It says right there, the McCoy.
Oh, it's MNSP, something like that?
FS.
Say it again?
FS.
Oh, MS. No, MSNBC, they just told me. NBC territory, this is what the Lord said.
Thank you all so much for being at this very, very, very important rally against anti-Semitism. And now, to symbolize the Jewish unity and to symbolize that next week is the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, we are going to blow the shofar. Please. Thank you, Larry. First, I would like to thank you all, along with the rest of our team, for coming out today and showing your support against this immortal menace. This rally would not have been possible without you all. We are here today to say enough. Silence, never again.
Never again. Never again.
Jews will never be silent in the face of persecution and oppression. The Jewish people will stand strong against the malicious lies that are used against us, and the only Jewish country, Israel. Violent anti-Semitic demonstrations have taken place all over the world recently, especially in Europe, due to Israel trying to protect its citizens from a terrorist regime bent on its destruction. Synagogues and restaurants have been burned and desecrated, and Jews harassed and violently attacked on the streets. Jews should never be scared for their lives, homes, and businesses. I lived in France for about 7 years, and I saw with my own eyes swastikas on Jewish tombstones. You know, Arabs chanting Sal Sharif, dirty Jew, in front of Jews who wear, their Jewish garments and kippahs. This is an outrage. The world should be an outrage. The Jewish people as a nation all over the world should be an outrage. enough is enough. And believe me, this is happening all over the world now. In America, in Europe, in Australia, in the Middle East, you name it, wherever Jews are, we're being attacked and we're being blamed. Silent, never again. Never again. The Jewish people have the right to live and worship peacefully and to live a normal, quiet life in every country where they reside. Today and every day, we want you to join us in telling the world enough with the incitement and hatred toward Jews. So now, let us begin the rally part. And thank you all so much for marching with us. First, I would like to introduce Rabbi Avi Schwartz. Now a little bit about Rabbi Avi Schwartz. Yeah, he has an amazing Zionist background. He's the son of the 1948 legendary commander Mordechai Schwartz, a rabbi. He's also a filmmaker and the creator of the acclaimed fight BDS app, a co-founder and director of Shomrei Ha'am, the Guardians of the Nation. He and his illustrious father, with fellow 1948 veteran Michael Shamach, have been building bridges between all Jewry in the past 4 years, reaching out to all ages with their inspirational lectures about Jewish unity and leadership. When Rabbi Schwartz, or as I call him, Avi, approached me about his idea to make an anti-Semitism march and rally, silence, never again. I knew I found a kindred spirit and a team player dedicated to the same goals and aspirations as mine: Jewish unity, pride, and survival. I want to present the inspiration for this march and rally and my very close friend, Avi Rabbi Schwartz. Please come up and thank you. Thank you for this very, very important idea. Toda Rabba.
Please.
Today is a great day, a historical day. Today the Jewish people and our non-Jewish supporters here and around the world via live stream stand shoulder to shoulder. Of all the 12 tribes that comprise our people, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, and so forth, is after Yehuda. We are collectively known as Yehudim. Why? Because the meaning of Yehuda is to give thanks, to acknowledge. That being the case, let us first begin our rally, Silence, Never Again, by giving thanks to the Creator of heaven and earth, who brought us to this day. I personally must acknowledge my mother of blessed memory, Henya Bat Tzvi Hesh, who instilled in me a passion to honor and respect the civil rights of all people, and my father and role model who inspires me to advocate for the Jewish people. In that vein of recognition, I wish to acknowledge all those who have worked hard and day and night, to partner with me in carrying out my dream of marching and protesting against the new wave of anti-Semitism and the media's culpability. Jeremy Derry, thank you. Maya Friedman, thank you. Sabrina Arel, thank you. Mindy Beth, thank you. Steve Lindy of the Jerusalem Post, thank you. Shalom TV, a network that provides a great service to the Jewish community, thank you. Ran Eliran, thank you. Michael Cohen, thank you. Sonny Boy, thank you. Our fabulous speakers, Officer Jared Norum, and New York's finest, NYPD. But most importantly, I want to thank all of you, my Jewish and non-Jewish brothers and sisters who march with us today and rallying with us now. As with any gathering of any people, of our people, we always commence with the bedrock of our nation, the Torah. And so let us refer to this week's Torah portion, Nitzavim. When Jeremy, Stephen Tebbett, and I were discussing which day the march and rally should take place, we chose this day for logistic reasons. But as you will see, divine providence chose it for higher reasons. Now these are the words of Moses, our greatest leader, sage, and prophet, spoke on the other side of the Jordan nearly 3,286 years ago. You are standing today, all of you, before Hashem, your God, the heads of your tribes, your leaders, and your officers, all the men of Israel, your small children, your women, and your convert, who is in the midst of your camp, for you to pass into this covenant of Hashem, your God, and into his imprecation with Hashem, your God, sees with you today. Not with you alone do I seal this covenant, this imprecation, but with you who is ever here, standing with us today, and with whoever is not here, standing with us today. And so who is Moses referring to when he said, whoever is not here with us today? He was referring to the souls that passed and to the souls that will be born. Today at this historical gathering, you can feel our mothers and fathers, our grandmothers and grandfathers, and all who came before us, extending all the way back to the three patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and to the four matriarchs, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. As we are here, so they are here, standing with us, guiding us, inspiring us, encouraging us. The great American writer Mark Twain once wrote about our people the following: if the numbers are right, the Jews constitute but 1% of the human race. His contributions to the world's list of great names, literature, science, art, music, finance, medicine, and learning are always out of proportion to the weakness of his numbers. He has made a marvelous fight in the world in all the ages, and done so with his hands tied behind him. He could be vain of himself and be excused for it. Other peoples have sprung up and held their torch high for a time, but it burned out. And they sit in twilight now, or have vanished. All things are mortal, but the Jew. All other forces pass, but he remains. What is the secret of his immortality? This is the question Mark Twain asked. So what is our secret? The divine pledge to our patriarchs and the superhuman commitment of our families to the ideals and creed of Judaism and Jewishness. For each of our ancestors said, on my watch, my nation will not fail. In each one of us runs a bloodline that stretches over 4,000 years. That is mind-boggling. 4,000 years. For 4,000 years, our families have committed themselves to being Jewish, remaining Jewish, and living Jewish. No matter the persecution, no matter the trials and tribulations, no matter the pogroms, no matter the Holocaust, the worst being 7 years ago, our families, with God's loving support, with all the human suffering, and that is why we're here today. Let us all look heavenward and give our devoted past family members a round of applause and tell them thank you for never giving up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And today we stand with heads held high and join our illustrious family line and say, not on my watch will my nation fall. Not on my watch. Everyone together. Not on my watch will our nation fall. Again, not on my watch will our nation fall. Again, not on my watch will our nation fall. Many of us, from the time we were children, have been bullied by anti-Semitism, but never were we threatened by it. The terrible lies of anti-Semitism ripped apart the self-esteem and the self-worth of many of our brethren. The constant badgering of haters calling us liars, thieves, and cheats made us question our rights as human beings. Which nation has to constantly prove its credentials? How horribly sad that after 4,000 years, we still are treated as a new entity that just arrived on the scene. And no matter how often we prove our loyalty, trustworthiness, and concern for other nations of the earth, we are still suspect. But now in the last 70 days since the Gaza war, our children have experienced a new wave of threat and hatred we naively thought dead. And that is the chance of death to the Jews. Again, all Jews are blamed. How did this insurgence come about? Through the media. The media's incessant lies, anti-Semitic agendas, and corruption, along with the BDS, the boycott, the vest sanction movement, has kindled the flames of hatred, placing the lives of our family, friends, loved ones, and ourselves at risk. Irresponsible journalism has made all of world Jewry combatants in the Gaza conflict. But more so, the media fed via distortion and manipulation the anti-Semitic thirst for hate, violence, beatings, and crime. But today, New York City, the city of the minorities, with global communities all of good, fine, and upstanding human beings, are saying enough is enough. Ever since anti-Semitism began in the time of Pharaoh, the anti-Semites have tried to define us. But no more. Today we take back our dignity. Today we take back our dignity. Today we define who we are. Today we will tell the world our values. We will make known our aspirations. So let me tell you something about the Jewish people. We believe in one God, all-powerful, all-loving, all-forgiving, one and unique. We believe that all human beings are made in divine image and must be treated with dignity and respect. We believe that life is beautiful and must be sanctified. We believe in love of thy neighbor as thyself. We do not believe in eye for an eye and tooth for tooth. Again, I repeat again, we do not believe in eye for an eye and tooth for tooth. The term eye for an eye means the damager should be spiritually contrite, but in no way is there any mutilation done. We believe that every being and every nation has a purpose. We believe contributing to the world. We believe in praying on behalf of the nations. We believe in peace. There's no longer 1938. We have learned from the past. Silence, never again. Silence, never again. Silence, never again. Today commences a new day. But one rally will not end the haters. It will take many rallies. Next week, we must rally against the Metropolitan Opera's staging the anti-Semitic opera Klinghoffer. As we approach the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, we must take stock of ourselves and commit to becoming a united nation performing more acts of kindness and brotherhood. Let us show Hashem, God, that we are worthy of his divine protection by behaving as brothers and sisters, so there are those who not yet here. The future generations will have a hate-free world to live when it's their time to walk the beautiful earth. This is our dream for all human beings, Jewish and non-Jewish. Now it is my honor to call up my good friend, Mr. Stephen Tippett, Jeremy, to introduce our honorable brother.
The order will be changed a bit. The next speaker will be Herb London. He's an American conservative activist, professor, academic, and tutor. He's president of the London Center for Policy Research and a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. Please, thank you for coming.
We may be few in number, but I want to hear the voices of those who are speaking out against anti-Semitism. In the 20th century, we defeated fascism. We made it clear that the tenets of socialism do not work. And we made communism into a laughable proposition for most Americans, except perhaps the man sitting in the White House. But the one-ism that has not disappeared, the one-ism that is a cancer cell metastasizing across the globe, is anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is the only ism that hasn't died. We have an obligation to kill it. Our role is to recognize what is happening across the globe and even in our own precincts. America cannot tolerate anti-Semitism, and the world should not tolerate anti-Semitism. One of the great canards of our time is to confuse anti-Semitism with anti-Zionism. People will say, I am opposed to the state of Israel, but I love the Jewish people. Nonsense. I do not believe in that proposition. When people tell me that, they don't recognize the fact that the only sanctuary I have for another Holocaust is the state of Israel. The only place on the globe where I can feel safe as a Jew is in Israel. The only place that waves the banner that saves Jews is in Israel. So don't tell me that Israel is part and different from the anti-Semitic challenge that we are now facing. Let me note, we talk about anti-Semitism. It is impossible to recognize or not recognize the fact that we have used the term never again many times. The words have become contingent. People say never again until it's never again. They say never again and it's never again. This has to end. David Lloyd George, who was the Prime Minister of England, once made the comment, World War I was a war to end wars, except for the next war. And the next war will say, that's the war to end wars. Well, in the case of never again, we have to mean never again, never again. The silence that we have experienced in the Jewish community cannot be tolerated. We are the voices of those who have to bring about the change. Let us not forget what our brothers and sisters had to live with in the 1930s. And keep in mind that Moses spoke to God during the book of Exodus, and God said to him, You've got to walk around the Philistine territory, even if it's a circuitous route to the Promised Land. And Moses decided to avoid going to the Philistine territory. And he said to the Jewish people, we have come out of slavery. If we go into war, we may be slaves again. And so he avoided the Philistines. We do not have that luxury. We've got to walk through the Philistine territory and defeat them. We've got to fight the Philistines, whether they're the Muslim Brotherhood, Boko Haram, or any other extremist group. We've got to say anti-Semitism in our time will not be tolerated. We are few in number, but our voices should be loud. Remember, we will not tolerate anti-Semitism. There is no saying never again and never again. We mean never, never, never again. Thank you very much.
For our next speaker, Rabbi Stephen Berg. He's Eastern Director of the Simon Wiesenthal Center, a graduate of Yeshiva University. Rabbi Berg received his rabbinic ordination from Yeshiva University's Rabbi Isaac Elchanan Theological Seminary. Rabbi Berg serves on the board of directors of the Yeshiva University High Schools. He's also a member of the Board of Education for the Rosenbaum Yeshiva of North Jersey Elementary School. Now let's welcome Rabbi Steve Berg. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you to all the organizers. Thank you to the NYPD and all law enforcement for being here today with us. I bring greetings from the Simon Wiesenthal Center. That name means a tremendous amount to all of us. After the Holocaust, Simon Wiesenthal spent 5 years in the camps, literally going through hell. He and his wife both survived the camps, and when he came out the other side, he made sure that justice was done. And over the course of his life, his work led to the capture of over 1,100 Nazis all around the world, because he understood that Jewish blood could never, ever again be cheap. And today, when we're facing all these issues around the world, and people say that the state of Israel, they say, I'm not an anti-Semite, I'm an anti-Zionist, nothing could be further than the truth. What they are upset about is that we can now defend ourselves. What they are upset about is that we have a country where if something happens to a Jew anywhere in the world, they can step forward and make sure that we are taken care of. Had we had that in the 1940s, Hitler would not have been able to annihilate as many Jews as he did. I come to you today from Europe last week. People ask me what the mood is like in Europe, and I can tell you that the British are nervous and the French are panicked. I can't tell you how many Jews I spoke to in England who asked me if they should leave at this point in time. The chief rabbi of England got up to speak, and he said that people ask him if Europe is like Nazi Germany of the 30s. He said it's not like the 30s, but we're certainly like the 20s. There is something in the air. There is something going on where people are attacking Jews around the world. They are saying it's because of Israel, but frankly, they've been doing it for thousands of years. This is nothing new. This is something that we've seen in our history time and time again. What has changed is we're not going anywhere. We're not leaving. We're going to stand where we are. We're going to stand up for the rights of Jews around the world, whether it be here in New York, Florida, Chicago, LA, or Europe, or in Israel. We are proud of our country, Israel, and we will always stand for it. And you being here today, you being here to say that we will not put up with anti-Semitism, and you being here to say to the television coverage, to the cable news networks, that somehow always get the story wrong. They always leave out the part when Israel goes halfway around the world to give medical aid to people that don't have it. They forget the stories during earthquakes and tsunamis when Israel and the Jews are always there to help people. All they do is find a misstep here and a misstep there. Well, they need to stop. They need to be responsible. The cable news networks need to understand that because of the things they are showing around the world, people hate Jews, and not only Jews, but America. It's the same hatred. The fight that we are in right now against ISIS is the same fight that Israel has against Hamas. There is no difference. It's a hatred of democracy. It's a hatred of all that is good. And we need to keep having these rallies. We need to keep coming out strong and say that we will not stand for it for Jews, but we will also not stand for it for the good people of the world. We will stand up for those people, and news media should be more aware of this than anyone because it's been part of their family that have been killed this past week. We need to start standing up against evil. We need to speak out. And like Simon Wiesenthal, we need people to understand that you can run, but you can never hide from justice when you attack a Jew or someone that's standing up for democracy. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Now we're going to change the pace a bit, and we're going to have a little music going. So let's bring up Sonny Boy. Thank you.
Yeah, you coming? Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye. It's on 48th and 6th. Okay, sure. It's at the northwest corner.
This is from Tehillah, Kaf. We say it every Shabbat. The last two sentences. They have the horses, and they have the guns, and they have the swords, and they have all that stuff. We have the name of Hashem on our side. They've fallen, and they've been, they've gone. All the civilizations passed. The ancient Greeks, the ancient Romans, the ancient Babylonians, Nazi Empire. The Jews have always been. Hashem will answer us on the day that we call. Adonai Hoshia, HaMelech Yaneinu, Yom Koreinu. Physically or mentally. Rabbi, don't see me shoot all this time. Thick sandwiches, dinner on some hard and still my friend. With a single slice of cheese and some iridescent ham. Oh, I'll trade the trade to heaven for his time. Strange as it may seem, captors or his damage. Lives his life in the storm. He was rescued from a dumpster. Day he was born. He means a mission, and although not sure, won't you please send one out to him, Rabbi? 'Cause he's got under shoulder too. Oh, Rabbi, you wouldn't believe why you don't see me show all this shopping. Boss in the cells, Tyrell, shit. He's jonesing for a fix. Oh, God, he's really. He's had no hidden too long days. His touch, his affliction, and he suffered long enough. My watch crushed my ankle, and I've lost track. But if you're making me shoot their rocks now, please fill this plea of mine. Oh, Tyrell needs one real bad, and although I'm not sure, won't you send one out to heaven? 'Cause he's got an neshama too, Rabbi. Why you don't see me sure on his shopping? Full-grown and restless man, on each day is a change. Oh, how could this be my muscle? Flashback to my tata in the camps, 66 years before I stand her disbelief. It's quite surreal. Chanel Forest and Fallen Rock got the short end of the deal. They could have all been inside. They were short. They were lost their whole lives through, and I'm here with them today. Rabbi, wouldn't believe why you don't see me shoot on his shout. Rabbi, you wouldn't believe. Thank you very much. I'm going to turn it back to your wonderful host right now. My name is Sonny Boy Williamsburg. On Facebook at Sonny Boy Williamsburg, and on YouTube at YouTube/Sonny Boy. I'm Yisrael Chai, baby. I'm Yisrael Chai. Pretty good.
Thank you, Sonny Boy. Now, for the next three speakers, the first one is a very dear friend of mine and a very strong Zionist, Stephen Tepid. He's a retired journalist. He's a former editor-in-chief of the Cameroon Times, and he's author of 3 books. He's also a frequent traveler to the Middle East and a commentator on developments throughout the region, especially in the Middle East. Thank you, Stephen, for coming.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, everybody. We're here for one thing. We're here for the truth. We're here for something that is bigger, that is not a Jewish problem. It's a problem of this world. It's a problem of the press that is always misrepresenting events in the Middle East, and that is a main contributor to the growth of anti-Semitism in the world. You would find that on many occasions, CNN and the other major networks in this country present the problem in Israel, the problem in the Middle East, as Jewish problem, as a conflict between Jews and Palestinians. In effect, they fail to say that it is a problem that is caused by fundamentalism. In fact, we now know that Abbas is more critical of Hamas than CNN is, than the American media is. We now know that Abbas has declared that Hamas has been massacring its own citizens. 13 were recently killed as spies for Israel. In fact, there were Christians who were critical of Hamas, who were killed, executed by Hamas, and they were called spies for Israel. The media knows that, and now we know that. We know that the deaths in Israel, the deaths in the last conflict, were caused not by Israel, but by Hamas and Qatar that refused a ceasefire. We also know that the major sponsors of fundamentalism, of the cause of war in the Middle East, are the countries that CNN and the others present as the moderate Muslims, the moderate Islam. Saudi Arabia, Qatar are the countries that are sponsoring international terrorism all over the world. They are the people that are sponsoring wars all over the world. Turkey is the main source of the selling of oil by ISIS. Turkey is presented as a moderate Islamic country. But yet, American children are going to die fighting ISIS, which is presented as an enemy, but the sponsors, the people who actually give money to ISIS, Turkey, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, they are considered as allies of the United States. And Israel is the problem. And so we stand here to ask that the press, give the American people the information that the American people deserve. It is an insult to our intelligence for us to continue to be told that the Jew is the problem, when in fact we know that Islamic fundamentalism kills. We know that the victims, the people who are being murdered, are not just Jews. This is a problem that exists, that threatens the world. In Africa, from where I come, there are no Jews in Africa killing Christians. There are Islamic fundamentalists called Boko Haram killing Christians. They are burning churches. So the question now is not if Islam or Islamic fundamentalism is a Jewish problem. It is not. It is the world's problem. Because the majority of victims of Islamic fundamentalism, of Islamic war, they are not Jews. They are Christians. They are Arabs. They are other people who are completely innocent. And so when people sit down and refuse to take their responsibility for what is happening and find an scapegoat called the Jew, it is a question of self-deceit. It is a question of self-deceit. We know that the people were quiet in the 30s because they believed that the Nazis wanted only the Jews. But in the end, tens of millions of other people died who were not Jewish. And we hid under our beds, hoping that we'll be spared by the Nazis. When fundamentalism comes, when war comes, everybody dies. It is time for us to rise up as a world, as a one world, as a nation, to fight against the evils that bring destruction and do not contribute anything to human civilization. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Stefan. And thank you for always being there for Israel. The next speaker, a very, very lovely woman, Ellen Friedman. She's the Executive Director of Americans for a Safe Israel, and she's always there for the Jewish people and for Israel. Thank you so much for being here, Ellen. Thank you. Toda.
Well, I wish there were more of us here today, but those of you who've come, you know why you're here. We are fighting hatred, just sheer, outright hatred. Yes. And the hatred comes from the Islamic world. This is the Islamic world. This is represented by ISIS today, and Hamas, Al-Qaeda, all these groups. President Obama cannot say that this is an Islamic threat. You heard him give his speech. It's not Islam. This is an outright lie, and what it does is endanger Americans. I want to talk to you about the three elements that are being represented against Israel today. First of all, there is the demonization. Israel is the demon nation. Why? Israel is the occupier. Israel takes, kills Hamas children. Israel is guilty of the 1948 Nakba. Israel is guilty of crime after crime after crime. Get over here and you'll hear. In the press and in the Arab world. As long as these lies continue to be told, we will have to keep fighting, fighting, fighting. Then there is the delegitimization. The delegitimization, how does this happen? The Presbyterian Church, Jews, liberal Jews, all come out against Israel. We have boycott, divestment, sanction. Products like Ahava, products like SodaStream can't be sold because they're manufactured in Israel. This is ridiculous. But the worst thing of all is the fact that we have Jewish organizations that support these efforts. Jewish organizations that worked with the Presbyterian Church to make this happen. And then we have the double standard. The double standard which is reinforced by the media. Does anybody talk about the hundreds of thousands of Syrians who are gassed by the Muslims? Does anyone talk about what's going on in the Sudan? Do we hear about the atrocities throughout Africa and the Middle East? No. It's only if Israel is building a settlement. Israel is going to build a few more houses on a hilltop somewhere. This is unacceptable, and even the American president has to weigh in on this and tell Israel that this is unacceptable. This is a total disgrace. What is happening in Europe with anti-Semitism? Take a look at France, Norway, London, Belgium, or right through every country. Demonstrations, Germany, neo-fascists. Everywhere you go in Europe, you find that Jews are told not to wear yarmulkes. You're told that Jews are supposed to stay in hiding. You read about the event in Paris where 300 Jews were locked up in a synagogue. And it was only when the riot police came, that they were escorted out with tremendous fear in their eyes, the same fear that the people had who were marched into the gas chambers. We are wearing our yellow badges never again, but it is happening again. It is happening again. It is happening in Europe and Americans, New Yorkers, it's happening right here in our country. Look at what's going on the university campuses. They had a die-in in Boston, a die-in. People lying down pretending to have been killed by Israelis. The University of Michigan, the University in Santa Barbara, NYU. NYU puts eviction notices under the doors of all the people, telling them that, pretending that they're being expelled from their homes, just as Israel is supposedly being accused of throwing Arabs out of their homes. How can we continue to fight this? On September 22nd, Monday, September 22nd, just a few blocks from here, at Lincoln Center, we are having a huge protest. We have busloads of students coming. We have Hindus, Christians, Mothers Against Terrorism, first responders, an opera, The Death of Klinghoffer, is being shown, not that night, but in October. September 22nd is the opening night of the Metropolitan Opera season. We absolutely cannot allow an opera that celebrates terrorism, where a PLO hoodlums hijack a ship in 1985, and they pull out a Jew, Leon Klinghoffer, because he's a Jew, and he's sitting in a wheelchair because he's an invalid. They shoot him in the face, they shoot him in the back, and they throw him overboard in his wheelchair. John Adams and Alice Goodman, the composer and the librettist, thought that this is a perfect subject for an opera. It's just a wonderful subject, and why not show the humanity of the terrorists? Why not show sympathy for the terrorists? The victims deserve what they get because they're Jews. I say we are standing with Israel, standing with America, standing with Jews, and really and truly, never again, never again, never again.
Just for people to know, we're going to have one more speaker and then a singer. The next speaker, Lori Reagan, is the interim executive director and New York chapter president of EMET, Endowment for Middle East Truth. She also serves on the Board of Scholars for Peace in the Middle East and the National Women's Committee of the Republican Jewish Coalition, and is a finance attorney of a large international law firm. She's a frequent and regular contributor to the American Thinker website and has been a guest on various radio programs and frequently speaks out on issues pertaining to foreign policy and in particular the U.S.-Israel relationship. And on that note, thank you, Lori, for being here.
Thank you all for coming out today. I recently read a column in which the writer compared anti-Semitism to alcoholism. Recovering alcoholics know that their disease does not go away and that it requires a lifelong effort to prevent its recurrence. So too with anti-Semitism, which no matter how long it appears to have been dormant, never goes away. As we march from CNN to MSNBC, let's consider the anti-Semitism that you don't hear about in the mainstream media. I'll start in Europe, where anti-Semitism is once again at dangerous levels. Jews are not safe to walk down streets wearing kippot or stars of David. BDS is mainstream and Israeli products are labeled as such, violent attacks have become commonplace, and where it is apparently now hip to hate Jews. In Sweden, a rabbi was attacked by people screaming, "Effing Jews." Hungarian politicians declare Jews a national security risk, and their third largest political party is openly anti-Semitic. In Amsterdam, a rabbi had his front door stoned, and after hanging Israeli flags from their balconies, one Jewish woman was beaten, and the other was the subject of an arson attack. In Belgium, a woman was told by a shop owner, "We don't currently sell to Jews." A doctor refused to treat a Jewish patient, telling her son, "Send her to Gaza for a few hours." And 4 people were murdered at the Jewish Museum in Brussels. In Italy, shops of Jewish owners were desecrated with swastikas and anti-Semitic sayings, including, "Jews, your end is near." France is particularly hostile, with 50% of all racist crimes motivated by anti-Semitism, despite Jews representing only 1% of that population. From the murder of 3 children and a rabbi at a Jewish school in Toulouse, to the hundreds who were barricaded inside the synagogue in Paris, as Helen discussed. Anti-Semitism in France is so pervasive that they're now leaving in droves. Across the streets of Greece, Hungary, Germany, France, Belgium, the UK, the Netherlands, and Poland, you can hear cries of "Death to Jews," "Slit Jews' throats," "Hitler, you were right," and "Jews, get out." In Germany, Molotov cocktails were thrown into a synagogue that had been previously destroyed on Kristallnacht, and Jews have been physically assaulted in Frankfurt, Hamburg, and Berlin. The former president of the Central Council of Jews in Germany warned that German Jews today are living through the most threatening time since World War II. And 2 years ago, the chief rabbi of the Netherlands, when asked if there was any future for Jews in the country, he responded no, and advised the community to move to Israel. Here in America, where many Jews live inside a warm cocoon of naivete and ignorance, anti-Semitism is flourishing as well. A rabbi was murdered last month while walking to Shabbat services in Miami, and homes across Florida have been vandalized with swastikas and pro-Hamas sayings. A 12-year-old Jewish girl was physically assaulted in Brooklyn by a group of girls who yelled, "You dirty Jew, these Jews should leave the neighborhood." And a young Jewish couple was physically attacked just a couple weeks ago on the Upper East Side. In Los Angeles, 5 men punched a Jewish man in the throat after yelling, "Effing Jews, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler." And at a high school in Chicago, students formed a club to exterminate Jews and used a video game app to create a virtual Jewish incinerator. And then there are college campuses where BDS flourishes, and the proponents of that movement intimidate and harass Jewish students. At San Francisco State University, a Palestinian student organization sold T-shirts expressing their desire for all Israelis to be killed. At the University of Michigan, pro-Palestinians promoting BDS yelled "Dirty Jew" and "Get off campus" pikes. At Vassar, members of SJP, Students for Justice in Palestine, physically blocked faculty and students and verbally assaulted them as they attempted to enter a classroom. At Temple University, a student was attacked by SJP students simply for being pro-Israel and called "kite," Zionist, and "baby killer" while the person lay injured on the ground. And we recently learned of the violent anti-Semitic listserv participated in by over 90 professors at Brandeis University. I take the time to go through all of these incidents and events because it is urgent that the American Jewish community get their heads out of the sand and understand that the events that led up to World War II are being played out again. Where are they today? According to the Anti-Defamation League's new study, there are now 1 billion adult anti-Semites in the world. That is 1/4 of the entire world's population who hates Jews. Well, I am sure that everyone here recognized the 13th anniversary of 9/11 that passed this Thursday. There was another anniversary that just passed that seemed to go by with little recognition in the Jewish community. September 1st was the 75th anniversary of the commencement of World War II. And I find it quite distressing that in the face of growing anti-Semitism across the globe, American Jews seem complacent and ignorant about the stark reality that they are living once again in perilous times. As the remaining Holocaust survivors die off, the mantra, "never again," and the reason for its use is but a faint memory for those who live in the U.S., whose primary voting issue is abortion rights, who helped elect the most anti-Israel president to the most important office in the world, not once, but twice. Who continue to read the New York Times and watch CNN, and who are simply apathetic about Israel's survival. And make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, Israel's survival should not be taken for granted. I personally believe that I have an obligation to the Jewish people and to God as one of his chosen people who have survived millennia of persecution right through to the Holocaust when they were finally returned to the Holy Land, to do my part to ensure the survival of the Jewish state of Israel. But even for those who do not feel the same compelling need to fulfill that responsibility, God's work, as I like to call it, there is another reason to work to help Israel survive. And that is why I read the litany of anti-Semitic incidents in Europe and the US. If there was ever a question as to whether or not the Jewish people need a homeland, look no further than what is going on in Europe and what is beginning to occur here in the US. Perhaps had the state of Israel existed in the early 1940s, several million Jewish lives would still exist. My dear friend and esteemed feminist and pro-Israel activist and author, Dr. Phyllis Chesler, broke ground in 2002 when she wrote a book entitled The New Anti-Semitism. Phyllis concluded that contrary to the UN formulation that Zionism equals racism, in reality, anti-Zionism equals racism. Phyllis stated that Israel has become the world's Jew and the Jewish state has been scapegoated for crimes it has never committed by those who are the worst human rights offenders of our time. So who are those who demonize Israel and who hate the Jews? Phyllis recognized the lethal alliance between a politically correct and allegedly anti-racist Western intelligentsia and barbaric Islamic jihadists, and called this alliance a perfect storm in which the most surreal blood libels about Jews in Israel are heard around the world 24/7 in every language. Doctored footage and doctored numbers are taken as the gospel truth, and ceaseless and relentless terrorist attacks against Israel and Jews are almost invisible, but Israel's attempts to defend herself are seen as crimes. Who can we thank for that? While the Palestinians have successfully kidnapped the messaging and their propaganda machines spits out lie after lie, it is MSNBC, CNN, the New York Times, and so on that eat this stuff up and help disseminate the anti-Semitic messages. The mainstream media is complicit in creating an immoral, false narrative that harms Israel and its survival. And when mainstream news outlets further the message that Israel is committing war crimes, killing Palestinian civilians, taking disproportionate military action, and isn't facing existential threats by jihadists on its borders, one can only conclude that these organizations are just as much a threat to the survival of the Jewish state of Israel as the terrorists themselves. The PC police have taken over academia and the media, and they have actually trampled on our First Amendment rights, as we saw at the University of Illinois a couple of days ago, when 4 Jewish students were arrested for speaking out at a student council meeting. The Islamists and other anti-Semites are permitted to take to the dais and spill out vitriol, but when Jews attempted to speak out, they are silenced. I will not be silenced, and you all should not be silenced either. I am here on behalf of the Endowment for Middle East Truth. Without truth, anti-Semitism will continue to flourish. Attacks on Jews the world over will continue to escalate, and Israel's survival will become more precarious. Without truth, the entire Western world is doomed, for once Israel goes, so too does the rest of the civilized world. Charles Krauthammer wrote earlier this year, "The persistence of anti-Semitism, that most ancient of poisons, is one of history's greatest mysteries. Even the shame of the Holocaust proved no antidote. It provided but a temporary respite. Anti-Semitism is back. Alas, a new generation must learn to confront it. We, ladies and gentlemen, and our children, are the new generation that must step up to confront the recurrence of this lethal disease. We must recognize, however, that unlike alcoholism and other diseases that kill the host, the Jewish people in the state of Israel are the intended victims of anti-Semitism. Let us never again become victims." Thank you.
For our next speaker, I would like to invite Rabbi Shmuley Boteach. He's an American Orthodox rabbi, author, TV host, and public speaker. Boteach is the author of 30 books, including Kosher Sex, A Recipe for Passion Intimacy, published in 1999, and Kosher Jesus. Please, come up. Thank you very much for coming. We all really appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to begin by offering thanks to New York's finest, the police officers who are here to protect us today. Guys, I'm sorry you're not watching the football game. We apologize. Go Giants! Go Jets! But there, when we have to disrupt the normal recreational activities that we would do on the Sunday afternoon to highlight a greater crisis. My kids are here today because I want them to understand that it is a privilege to be a Jew, but it comes with responsibilities. And it has often been accompanied by unbridled and irrational hatred. I am not here to condemn CNN as supporting terror. I'm a regular guest on CNN, and I thank them for having me as a guest. I am not here to condemn MSNBC. I am not here to condemn any media organ. On the contrary, I am here to celebrate them. We live in a democratic country where we have the right to get up in the organs of the media and express our opinion without fear. Why don't our Arab brothers and sisters have that same right under the dictators and under the tyrannies that they live? Why do 22 Palestinians get bullets to the head and extrajudicial killings accused of being collaborators by Hamas, when often they are gay men and women? 2 women were also executed on false charges of collaboration because they are denied the basic rights that each and every one of us takes for granted here in the United States. I am here to call upon the media organs of the United States to highlight the persecution, the oppression, the denial of basic liberties that has become so rampant in the Middle East and that wants to export itself even to places right here in New York City. We're here just a few days after 9/11, when 3,000 innocent Americans were incinerated in 2,000-degree jet-fueled fire and heat for no other sin than wanting to get up early to feed their families, to pay their mortgages. And they were the victims of hatred because they were the citizens of a free democracy that seeks to liberate Muslims of the Middle East. And my friends, through all these crimes and through all the brutality of beheadings by monstrous organizations like ISIS, that yesterday beheaded an innocent British citizen, and last week beheaded an innocent Israeli-American citizen, and 3 weeks ago beheaded yet another American journalist. Throughout these crimes, the people who have unfortunately always been the canaries in the coal mine have been the Jewish people. We have been the ones who have been the first targets of extremism. We are the ones who have been magnets for intolerance. We are the ones whom those who seek to impose the dark cloud of evil on the world always first seek to obliterate and annihilate. Hitler was not a menace to the Jewish people. Hitler Hitler was a menace to the world. But when he passed the Nuremberg laws, when he shut down Jewish businesses, when he denied Jewish professorships, when he passed vile racial laws, people saw it as a Jewish issue. And we dare not see anti-Semitism as purely a Jewish fight. On the contrary, the specter of Islamist terrorism is coming to a theater near you. And Israel may be its first target, but as we learned on 9/11, America is the next target. And after that we learned that Britain was the next target. And after that we learned that Spain was the next target. And now even Muslim countries in the Middle East are joining President Obama's call to fight ISIS because they understand that even Arabs are not safe from Arab terrorism. On the contrary, in places like Iraq, it is our Muslim brothers and sisters who are being blown up by these bloodthirsty terrorists who have always marked the Jews as their first targets. My friends, I ask a just and righteous world, especially living in the Western world, who believe in women's rights, how could you support Hamas over Israel when they subject women to honor killings for simply falling in love with a man who is not of their choosing? I ask my friends in the West, how could you support Hamas over Israel when Hamas will take gay men and slaughter them for no other reason than their sexual orientation, murder in cold blood? What happened to all the rights that we believe in here in the West? I ask my friends in the West, how could you not stand up for the Jewish state of Israel as it faces a genocidal war by an organization with a genocidal covenant that calls on Muslims to look behind trees and find every last Jew hiding behind them, calling for the slaughter, murder, annihilation of Jews, not just in Jerusalem, not just in Tel Aviv, not just in Sderot, not just in Beersheba, but in New York, in Kansas City, and in Rio de Janeiro, and wherever they are to be found. The global scourge of anti-Semitism, which is now being paraded on the streets of London, which is now finding expression on the Champs-Elysees. To hear once again on Unter den Linden in Berlin that Hamas, we need more poison gas. It's even a bad rhyme, let alone a genocidal call to murder. Who would have believed in the year 2014, 70 years after the liberation of Auschwitz, that we would be hearing for the call of the extermination and gassing of Jews yet again on the streets of Berlin? Who would have believed that 70 years after Majdanek, Sobibor, Grossrosen, that we would be hearing on the streets of Germany the call for Jews to be burned into ash? Who would have believed that 70 years after Dachau and Majdanek and Treblinka, that we would hear the call for Jews and their children to have their lungs filled with poison gas? In places like Dresden and Leibniz and Frankfurt. My God, is there no justice? Is there no justice? And where is the outrage, my friends? Where is the outrage? Right here. I stand as an American with the glorious, majestic, righteous, just, democratic, free state of Israel. I stand as an American with the human rights loving, women honoring, gay respecting, freedom loving, democracy adhering, majestic state of Israel. I stand as an American with the freedom of press loving, freedom of worship loving, open, liberty-loving democracy that is the only free country in the Middle East, the glorious state of Israel. And I condemn, as an American, in the strongest terms, in the freedom of the cathedral of a city that grants me the right to get on a platform with a megaphone and speak my mind because I live in a free country, I ask that God bless America. America, that bastion of freedom, liberty, and human rights. America that lost 5,000 brave men and women, liberating our Iraqi brothers and sisters from the tyranny of a man who had killed 1 million Muslims. America that marches into the Middle East to destroy ISIS, that beheads Christians living in the Middle East, that crucifies children. What a glorious country we live in. It is therefore no surprise that the greatest friend Israel has ever had is the United States of America. And ladies and gentlemen, if we are to incite the blessings, if we are to quote the blessings, as we did in yesterday's Torah reading, that on Har Gerizim and Har Eval, the mountain of blessing, the mountain of curses, we must also offer condemnation of those who represent precisely the opposite of all the freedoms that we just listed. I condemn with every fiber of my being. I deplore with every strand of my DNA. I decry with every molecule that constitutes who I am the bloodthirsty Hamas death cult that is fueled by hatred of Jews rather than love of Palestinians. The Palestinians and every Arab child is a child of God. It was we the Jews who taught in the first chapter of Genesis that every human being is created equally in the image of God. My fight will never be with my Arab brothers and sisters. It will be with Arab terror groups who are devoted to the annihilation of the Jewish people, who are a menace to the Palestinians, who couldn't give a darn about the freedom of the Palestinians, who take every dollar given to them by the UN a couple of blocks away, or by the State Department, or by Britain, the EU, and they use it not to build hospitals, not to build infirmaries, not to build colleges, not to build schools, not to build nurseries, but to buy bombs and bullets and concrete tunnels in order to kill Jews, annihilate Jews, slaughter more Jews, and that is their only purpose. I condemn in the strongest possible language the government of Iran. The government of Iran that purports to have come into existence to address the human rights abuses of the Shah. And my father was born in Isfahan in Iran. And how did they address the human rights abuses, the savak of the Shah? By giving us the theocracy of the mullahs that would take an innocent woman and stone her to death on false charges of adultery brought by a husband who simply wants to get rid of her. We who were disgusted by the video of Ray Rice punching his fiancée. We who love football, who should be watching it right now on a Sunday afternoon, but who were prepared to go along with the league's decision to remove a star running back because he had hit a woman. Where is the outrage for a government that stones women? Where is the outrage for a government that will have little children, boys, pick up a stone and throw it at their mother's head when she has no possibility of truly defending herself when her husband wants to marry someone younger and has her stoned to death because he charges her with false allegations of infidelity? This is Stone Age brutality, my friends. Where is the outrage? In a city where millions of people every summer will march in a gay pride parade where gay men and women can openly express their identity? Where is the outrage that in the public squares of Tehran and Isfahan, that gays hang from cranes in the street on charges of filthy immoral practices, abominations, hanging from cranes in the street? Where is the outrage, my friends?
Right here, yeah!
Where is the outrage at the UN, where the world leaders are about to gather in a week's time, when one UN member state, the terrorist Islamic government of Iran, threatens a fellow member state, the Jewish state of Israel, repeatedly with annihilation, nuclear destruction, genocide? How is it that the president of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Hassan Rouhani, will be allowed to speak from the rostrum of the UN while he and his puppet master, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, call for the annihilation of the Jewish state of Israel? Where is the outrage?
Right here!
Where is the justice? My friends, I see a world of equal rights for all. I see a world where the Jewish universal teaching found in the very first chapter of the Bible, in Genesis, that God created every man, woman, and child, black, white, Jew, Muslim, Christian, Protestant, Catholic, Asian. Help me here! Hindu, Buddhist, atheist, agnostic, Baha'i. I see a world where every single one of God's children, enumerated and those too numerous to be enumerated, are treated with equal human rights, where no person raises their child to dislike a Jew or dislikes an African American or an African or a Hindu or an immigrant. I see a world where we all teach our children to find the infinite spark of the divine. Anti-Semitism has gone on for too long. It is the world's oldest hatred. I am tired, my friends. I am tired of raising my kids in a world where they go on the website and the iPad and all the magical media forms given to us by technology, and the first thing they read every morning is that this person has called for the annihilation of the Jewish people. I am tired of them reading that Israel is condemned day and night. Do you know that Bashar al-Assad has yet to be condemned once by the United Nations for the 150,000 people that he's killed? Not once, because the Security Council has blocked any condemnation, any criticism, any censure. China has blocked it, Russia has blocked it, but Israel gets criticized every time someone hits a cappuccino at the UN. I'm tired of my children having to grow up feel like they're inferior. I'm tired of my children having to grow up fearing that just because they bear the name Jew, they will be a magnet for hatred. I'm tired of my son, who's at NYU, having to go to a university where all he hears is chants for BDS against Israel because of the occupation. Those same people calling for the BDS boycott of Israel are using iPhones made in China, occupying Tibet since 1954. But nobody gives a damn, because BDS isn't about protecting Palestinians. It's about Jew hatred, plain and simple. I'm tired of my children having to pay a price for being a Jew. I want them to be proud of who they are. In the same way I want every African American child to be proud of who he is. Every Christian to embrace his faith. Every Muslim to embrace a peace-loving Islam. And let us Jews never forget that it was Muslims who took in Jews when they were expelled from Spain in 1492, from Portugal a few years later. It was Muslims who created a tolerant cosmopolitan society with the greatest Jewish thinker that ever lived, Moses Maimonides. In Spain, prior to Muslim extremists destroying the modern Islam that prevailed on the Iberian Peninsula. It was a Muslim ruler, Sultan Salah al-Din, arguably the greatest Muslim ruler of all time that chose Maimonides, a rabbi, as his personal physician and treated him with dignity, affection, and respect. May God bless America. May God bless the state of Israel. May God bless every man, woman, and child who reaches out and sees the divine spark in every other man, woman, and child. God bless you.
What an inspiring speech. It directs us to have faith in ourselves, faith in the Jews, faith in Israel, ולא לפחד כלל. כל העולם כולו, the whole world is a narrow bridge, גשר צר מאוד. והעיקר, the main thing, is לא לפחד. והעיקר, לא לפחד, לא לפחד כלל. והעיקר, לא לפחד כלל. עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי. 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 עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו חי. בירושלים, 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 one more time. בירושלים, 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 בירושלים. The fact that people come here, it means they care.
That's right.
Even the war is on an intermission. We don't know whether the bombs will fall tomorrow again. We don't know whether there will be peace. Although in our hearts we believe. Oseh shalom v'imromav, yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Come here. Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Shalom aleichem, shalom aleichem, shalom aleichem, shalom, shalom, shalom aleichem, shalom aleichem, shalom. be in Israel in 2 weeks, and I'll tell them what a great audience, what a great people the American Jews are. They should come out and support us because we are brothers. We are from the same father, and our future is tied together. Toda. And the Christians who believe in peace. I'm rolling down my soldier shield, down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm rolling down my soldier shield, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Whoa. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Yeah. Tada.
Oh, thank you, Ron. Thank you much. Thank you very much. The next speaker, Mark Langfan. Mark is a New York-based attorney who in 1990 created a three-dimensional topographical model of Israel to explain the implications of strategic height and depth of the mountains of Judea, Samaria, and the Golan Heights for Israel's security. In the early 1990s, he created the educational in APAC, March 1992 Near East Report. Mark published his first article, Demilitarization Details, outlining the dangers of the Katyusha terrorist rocket threat from a West Bank Palestinian state. Since then, Mark has published numerous articles in newspapers and security journals, including the Jerusalem Post and Arutz Sheva. In 2013, Mark was elected chairman of Americans for a Safe Israel. Mark is a senior fellow of the London Center and the Arutz Sheva correspondent to the UN. Today, Mark continues his campaign informing the world and all government agencies on the strategic importance of Israel and the dangers from a Palestinian state. Thank you so much for being here, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. I got it. Thank you. Did a fantastic job. This is a fantastic event. First, we should give a thank you to all the police officers who are here on this Sunday. We want to thank you. You guys are fantastic. And so I'm gonna talk about a bunch of different things. Now, my first question for everybody is how many people here are on good terms with an Israeli in Israel? Beautiful. Okay, because I'm going to tell you a couple of stories just from today. So I'm at lunch with an Israeli, and I show him, I have the postcard, can I have one of those postcards? So I show him my postcard, and he says, oh my God, you know, I want to thank you so much. My father is always worried. He's an Israeli, he's in Israel, and he's always worried that no one cares about us, okay? And when he saw this postcard, he thanked me because he's going to show it to his father, and he's going to show his father that someone loves him. Now, what I really would like everyone to do when they get home, well, maybe not when you get home, but tomorrow sometime, call your Israeli friend and tell him that we love him. Okay? All right. So now, Shmuley Botak, Rabbi Botak asked an excellent question. Where's the outrage? Now, I'm going to ask a very unorthodox question. I understand where there's no outrage when Jews are being massacred, but I got a question. I used to argue about 10, 15 years ago. I said, what would happen if the Muslim suicide extremist bombers
bombed themselves. Wouldn't the Muslims stand up and say this is terrible? Well, everybody. This is the problem. You've got thousands and thousands and thousands of Muslims killing thousands and thousands and thousands of other Muslims, and not a single Muslim gets up and says that's a bad thing. So I got a question for everybody here. Why is there any surprise if some Jews are being killed? There shouldn't be any surprise. What I'm surprised about is that this carnage goes on and no one seems to care. Matter of fact, you look at Assad. He hasn't killed 150,000 Muslims. He's killed upwards of 300,000 Muslims. And does anyone care? Not a single person cares. So you gotta say to yourself, my God, if nobody cares about that, who is going to care about us? And let me tell you who's going to care about us. Every single person who's here cares about us. You've cared about us by coming and showing that you are proud and willing to take your time. And so I want to thank everyone here now for coming. So now I'm going to make a little advertisement. This last Monday, I had the good fortune of speaking at the United Nations. And I hope Jeremy is going to put up my videotape where I'm talking and you're going to see the PowerPoint that I gave there. And I want everyone to really watch it and to send it to their friends. And if anybody has any questions, just please call me. But now I'm going to talk about a different subject, which is a lot closer to my heart, and that is Judea and Samaria. And so I've handed out to everybody in the crowd this little postcard. Does everybody have this postcard? Yes. Great. So now I'm going to tell you thank you. So now I'm going to tell you another thing that happened today. So I'm being visited by one of my best friends in Israel who lives in Beit El, which in many ways is the heartbeat of Israel, even though it is quote unquote a settlement. It is as legitimate for the Jewish people as the entire state of Israel is, which is absolutely legitimate to the Israeli and Jewish people. But this is what happens. His wife, who is as very knowledgeable, looks at this big poster, and one thing pops out about it that she never knew before, and she never understood. And after today, everybody's going to understand it. Now, what we really have to understand in this world today is perhaps the biggest lie is that there is a two-state solution. Now, what does a two-state solution mean? Well, on the surface of it, it means, oh, we're going to have two states living in peace and harmony, and everyone's going to be just hunky-dory. Everybody, I've got a news flash. The two-state solution is a lie. It is a fraud on the Jewish people. It's a fraud on Israel. And let me be clear. The two-state solution is not a two-state solution. It is a zero-state solution for the Jewish people and a Holocaust upon the Jewish people. That is what it's not a two-state solution, it's a zero-state solution. Now let me just give a little bit of explanation about why it is a zero-state solution and why the wife of really my best friend in Israel was shocked at this poster I had over here today. So let's first understand what's been going on from the Gaza Strip. From the Gaza Strip, these Hamas terrorists have been firing these rockets into pre-67 Israel after Israel left the Gaza Strip. Now, almost all the land around the Gaza Strip is relatively sparsely populated farmland. So when these terrorist monsters who hide behind women and children, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. When these monsters hide behind women and children and from hospitals and fire these rockets, they're generally fired into relatively sparsely populated areas. So imagine if you're firing a rocket in North Dakota, into North Dakota. What are you most likely going to hit? You're most likely going to hit nothing. So that's the reason why over the past 14 years, these terrorists have fired these rockets and they've killed relatively few people. Now, if I may just historically make a pause, and the question is, well, what would America do if some banditos down in Mexico fired these rockets into New Mexico? And the crazy thing is, you actually don't have to really hypothesize about this, okay? In fact, it was a historical event. In 1917, Pancho Villa, a Mexican revolutionary, came into Columbus, New Mexico, and killed a bunch of American citizens, and then ran back into Mexico. What did Wilson, who was the peace president, do? He sent Pershing into Mexico for 5 months with 5,000 American troops. Now, if anybody knows what 5,000 American troops were in 1917, you'd understand the enormity of what he did. For 5 months, they just went willy-nilly, wherever, killed whoever they could kill. They ultimately didn't get him, but that's what America did when terrorists attacked our borders, okay? So next time anyone needs a comparison, you just ask, what did Wilson and Pershing do to Pancho Villa? But now let me get back to the map here. They fired 20,000 of these rockets into sparsely populated areas from the Gaza Strip. But this is the point. God forbid a million times, if they get a West Bank Palestinian state, what are they going to do? Because everybody should look at their postcard and they'll see these green dots, which is, people call it the waste of Israel. The waste of Israel is only about 9 miles to 10 miles wide. Now, the reason why I don't call it the waste of Israel, because if you hit somebody hard in the waist, you can survive. But this area here has 70% of Israel's Jewish population and 80% of her industrial base. So it is not the waist of Israel, it is the neck of Israel. So now just imagine in this 10-mile wide times 40-mile, 40-mile north and south rectangle, if they got a Palestinian state where they were able to smuggle in the same types of rockets that they're now firing from the Gaza Strip. Because everybody should remember, the Gaza Strip was supposed to be demilitarized also. And that was a total fraud on Israel and the Jewish people as well. So imagine if they smuggled those same relatively small rockets and fired them into this densely inhabited and populated area. It would be like firing a rocket from the West Bank into this Tel Aviv Netanya corridor would be like firing a rocket from Brooklyn or Queens into Manhattan. Now, I could just imagine if one terrorist with one rocket fired from Queens into Manhattan, what horror that would do to this area. You don't need to be too imaginative. But I can tell you this, these police officers here wouldn't be sitting around in Manhattan. They would be going into Brooklyn and Queens, wherever that rocket was fired from, and they would be making sure that that would never happen again. But the problem is, with a Palestinian state, how is Israel going to reinvade a Palestinian state? Haven't we seen that it's almost impossible to reinvade the Gaza Strip? So could you just imagine what it would be like if Israel were, God forbid, forced to reinvade? And by the way, that's what the left-wing generals say. They don't say we're going to be able to defend against these rockets. They say, no, no, no. If there's one rocket, we'll be able to reinvade the West Bank. Now everybody here should ask themselves, how is Israel going to reinvade the West Bank? That's the problem. So, so the point was, we get into the elevator, and this wife of my Israeli friend who lives in Bethel sees that statement, that it's like firing one rocket from Queens into Manhattan. And all of a sudden she got it. And I hope everybody here gets it. And please, watch the video that I was in on Monday. I think you'll find it great. Send it to your friends. And I want to say Am Yisrael Chai. And I want to thank everybody for coming. And thank Jeremy. He did an awesome job. And we're going to be an even bigger crowd next time.
And now for the last thing, speaker, Ashraf. Ashraf is the founder and president of Voice of the Cops, a human rights non-profit organization. The organization has offices in Italy and the United States. And he's a very, very big friend of the Jewish people and Israel. Honestly, thank you. It's an honor to have you here. Thank you so much. Shukran.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to start with saying, if you could be silent for 1 second and hear what I could hear right now. I am hearing the voice of more than 6 million Jews who was killed 60 years ago or more. But not only Jews was killed. Christians of Egypt, Armenia, and other people. For what reason? For our politically correctness, that we're scared to say the truth. Who's behind that? Who's behind killing people, innocent people? Islam or Muslims? It is catch-22 who's come first, the egg or the chicken. The problem that we have right now, that we are scared to say the truth for political correctness. Here in the United States, in New York City, the lighthouse for the freedom, we still have this problem. It is new to us here in the United States. And here we need to speak loud and say no to political correctness. We need to say the truth. We need to say the truth. What's happening in Egypt and Syria and Iraq is not happening just because. It's happening because these people hate us, Christians and Jews. They hate us. There are in the world about 3,000 religions. We just hear about Muslims killing people. And I wonder, how come no one standing up and saying the truth. We need to have more courage and say whatever happening right now. Israel has to exist, and as Mark Langton said, there is no two states. Only one state is Israel. It is the state given by God to his people, and they have to exist there in their land for 5,500 years. It is Israel land, it's Jewish land, it's not Arab land, it's not a Muslim land. As a Copt, I have a lot of sympathy for Jewish people and Israel because I know that they are suffering as my people in Egypt. They are suffering from the same thing, and it is time to stand together and say loud and clear, we are together against anyone that must allow us to practice our faith, our religion, and our right to say whatever is right. In this town here, in this city here, we have big statues for the Statue of Liberty, and we have the right to be free and say whatever happening. I would like to speak more, but I think that there's a lot of people cover a lot of things. I am saying here one more time, it is time to say no to supremacies of Islam. If they would like to do whatever they have to do, they do it in their country, not in other countries. God bless you guys all, and God bless Israel, and God bless the United States of America.
Time for singing. Now, I want to introduce Michelle Cohen, a very unique voice of Israel, and honestly, he's truly wonderful, and we're very blessed to have him here. תודה רבה, מישל. ממש תודה רבה עם כל הלב. תודה.
Okay, you ready, everyone? Yeah. Okay, מאמינים? Hey, clap your hands, everybody. אנחנו מאמינים ומאמינים ואין לנו על מי להישאר אלא על אבינו, אבינו שבשמיים. אנחנו מאמינים ומאמינים ואין לנו על מי להישאר אלא על אבינו, אבינו שבשמיים. Clap your hands, everybody. ישראל בטח לשם, איזמו מנגינה מור. ישראל, ישראל בטח בשם, אוי איזמו מנגינה מור. ישראל, ישראל בטח בשם, אוי איזמו מנגינה מור. ישראל, ישראל בטח בשם, אוי איזמו מנגינה. Everybody! אנחנו מאמינים ומאמינים ואין לנו על מי להישאר אוי אלא על אבינו, אבינו שבשמיים. אנחנו מאמינים ומאמינים ואין לנו על מי להישאר אוי אלא על אבינו, אבינו שבשמיים. שלמה בביאת המשיח. אני מאמין, אני מאמין באמונה שלמה בביאת המשיח. אני מאמין. everybody, משיח, 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 אוי 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 אוי, משיח, 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 אוי 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 אוי, משיח, 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 אוי 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 אוי, משיח, 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 אוי 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 אוי. אבל מי שיתממע עם כל זה אחכה לו בכל יום שיבוא. אבל מי שיתממע עם כל זה אחכה לו בכל יום שיבוא. הוא שיבוא, הוא שיבוא, הוא שיבוא. everybody, איי 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 אני חוזר הביתה והדרך שם. בתוך מטוס בין ארץ ושמיים, קורא עיתון הזמן עובר בינתיים, ודיילות שמטיילות ושואלות בשני קולות מה בא לי מיץ או יין. אני יושב בין עננים ומים, ולשעה קלה עוצם עיניים, ליבי דוהר ומלהר להיזכר באנשים בבית. אני לא יכול יותר, אני משתגע, אני כל כך מתגעגע, רק כל מודיע עוד מעט ונגיע. everybody, אני חוזר הביתה, אני חוזר, אני והגיטרה, אני חוזר הביתה אל השמש בעיניי. tocca la finestra. Buongiorno Italia con i tuoi artisti, contro America sui manifesti, con le canzoni, con amori, con il cuore, con chi donne sempre meno suore. Buongiorno Italia, buongiorno Maria, buongiorno chi vieni de mariconia, buongiorno Dio. Sai che ci so, everybody lasciatevi cantare, lasciatevi cantare, con la chitarra in mano, lasciatevi cantare la canzone piano piano, lasciatevi cantare, perché ne sono fiero, sono l'italiano. אלוקים ואגדנו בתורה ההלל השם אלוקים ואגדנו בתורה י' וה' ו' וה' השם אלוקינו השם אחד י' וה' ו' וה' השם אלוקינו השם אחד השם מלך השם מלך השם ימלוך לעולם ועד השם מלך השם מלך השם ימלוך לעולם ועד השם מלך השם מלך השם ימלוך Thank you very much, everyone. The last one. La, 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 la. Yes, okay, Shalom Aleichem. Evenu Shalom Aleichem. Evenu Shalom Aleichem. Evenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. Evenu Shalom Aleichem. Evenu Shalom Aleichem. Evenu Shalom Aleichem. Evenu Shalom, Shalom. לא שומעים, clap your hands everybody. Shalom Aleichem, Evenu Shalom Aleichem, Evenu Shalom Aleichem, Evenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem, Evenu Shalom Aleichem, Evenu Shalom Aleichem, Evenu Shalom Aleichem, Evenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem.
Thank you, Michelle Cohen. תודה רבה. Wow. Now this is a special moment, a special opportunity. One of the key organizers, Maya Friedman, her daughter Sherry, she wrote a poem that I want everyone to hear it, and I want to give her the honor to come up on the stage and say it. And honestly, thank you, and thank your mother for everything. And let's hear this wonderful poem. I think there will be two of them. כל הכבוד, תודה רבה.
Hello there, New York, New Jersey, and everybody else. You guys probably what? Drove how far to get down here? And traffic and all that? Okay, well, I'm Sherry. I'm 23, and I wrote 2 poems. I was being bullied when I was in elementary school. They called me an effing Jew and a lot of other things. They threw pennies at me, and they put swastikas in my locker. They stole my lunch money and all that fun jazz when you're, you know, in school. But then we moved. It got better. Trust me, if you're in school now, it does get better. Bullying sucks. We're getting bullied now by countries, but what can we do? But yeah, I wrote this and I hope to publish them. The first one's called The School of Halls Painted Red. In the School of Halls Painted Red, bring back memories that I'll never forget. Memories of fear. Memories of words that I can't bear to hear. Seeing a girl hiding in her shadow, where racial marks follow her along the way. Words with such cruelty that I'd rather not say. People call her by religion and never by her name. When something goes wrong, she's the one on the blame. I hate seeing this happen to her. This is practically every day. A memory that I felt it happen just yesterday in the School of Halls Painted Red. These memories, she couldn't stop or change. You can picture her scared, but never her rage. Why can't everyone get along rather than fight against race, religion, sexual orientation, or religion? Instead, we can stop the mess and do something right. I know she wants to run so far away, but she's still here, hiding in her shadows. I remember her walking up the school's stone stairs that leads in the School of Halls Painted Red. This memory is clear to me now, that this so-called memory never had an end. Yeah, instead of them calling me by my name Sharon, because my name's Sharon, or my nickname was Sherry among my friends, everybody where I went to school in Elmwood Park, New Jersey, East Patterson, they called me Jew. Oh yeah, there's the Jew. Oh yeah, you know, there's the Jew. And they didn't really care for anything else. That's what actually happens when you're a kid, or maybe now when you're an adult, or where you work. You don't get the respect that you deserve, other than where you come from, or what the skin color is, or what your sexual orientation is, or what your beliefs are. Instead, you're being picked on for these things that you're just born into. You didn't choose it, but that's what happens. Instead, you get stronger, and that's what happened. I got stronger, and even though I'm 23, and I still can't get over those memories, I did get stronger. I do have friends, and you know, they're Muslim, they're Christian, they're Catholic, they're Protestant, they're blue, they're green, they're everything. I have friends in the LGBT community, because that's what a human needs to be. You're gonna be a human. Don't treat people like shit. They don't deserve it. Oh, sorry, my friend. Okay, anyway, this is called In the Shadow. In the shadow, I sit here, hearing footsteps running. Don't know where they're heading. I can't stop to eavesdrop as I overhear some people whispering, talking from miles away from my hiding place. While I'm here sitting alone in the shadow, I'm hiding in a corner from my fears. You can see my crystal tears dripping down my cheeks. Until you took my hand and brought me to daylight. You brought me to daylight, to where it shined. Now I feel so relieved, because everything I grieved disappeared from inside me. In the shadow used to be my place of comfort, where I thought I'll go to cry and hide, where I thought I'll go when I feel trapped inside. Until you took my hand and brought me to daylight. I don't like that thing. You brought me to daylight, to where it shined. Finally, I have flapped my wings and swooshed into the sky. Every time I'll pass the familiar hallway that gives me memories of only loneliness and gloom, I turn the other way. The shadow isn't part of me no more. And that's my mom, Maya Friedman, and my father, Yosef Friedman, and my brother, Yaniv Friedman, and my boyfriend, Anthony Johnson. He's a Christian, by the way. You know what? These are the people that they give me their hands and take me out from the darkness to where it shines. I am no longer the shadow, and one day, all of you will be the same way. You'll not be the shadow no more. I'm Sherry Friedman, and enjoy your night!
Sherry!
Okay. Honestly, I want to thank you all for coming. And I truly want to thank the organizers behind this, including Rabbi Avi Schwartz, Maya Friedman, Sabrina Ariel, and Mindy Beth. Thank you so much. for making such an important event happen. It is true, anti-Semitism has never died, and it is alive and kicking, and Jews are paying the price. And sadly, you know, even in America, Jews are paying the price. You know, like I told the Jewish community of Brooklyn 2 weeks ago, whatever happens in Israel affects the entire Jewish world. We are connected, whether you want to be or you don't want to be. Israel is at home for the Jewish people, and we are the guardians of Israel. And on that note, I want everybody to understand, be strong. We have to stand strong and fight this menace that refuses to die. But remember, we are not the bad guys. And as the Bible says, we are the light upon the nation. And it is our duty, each and every one of us, to be the light upon the nation and to protect our brothers and sisters. Because there's a lot of people out there who don't like us, and they will use lies, violence, threats to hurt us. But we will never die. Silence, never again. There will be no more Holocaust for us, and there will be no more threats, because we are here and we are not going anywhere. And that's why we made this event, to prove to the world that we are here. Israel is here to stay, and we are here to say enough is enough, and Am Yisrael Chai. And on this note, I want to give the concluding remarks to Rabbi Avi Schwartz, because it's really thanks to his brainchild that he made this wonderful event, a very important and momentous event happen. So thank you all for coming here, and thank you, Avi. Come. Toda Rabba.
Thank you to Jeremy, a brother in arms, to Maya Friedman, a sister in arms, to Mindy Beth, and sister in arms, to Sabrina Ariel, sister in arms, and to all of you. All of you watching right now in New York, around the world, we have a message to you. The good people of the earth are standing up. The good people of the earth are saying no more to violence. The good people of the earth are saying no more to beatings and to rapes and to beheadings and to deaths of innocent people. From this point on, the 6 million Jews have risen up, and the 5 million non-Jews who were killed also in the Holocaust have risen up. But they now say it is time for us, the new generation, to stand up on this day. That is an historical day when all human beings of good faith, of good religious thought, of peace and of love and forgiveness have come together and saying to all humanity, silence, never again! Silence, never again! Silence, never again! Thank you all for coming today, and spread the word. From this point on, it is a fight for the good to overcome the evil. Thank you. And God bless America, Israel, and all humanity.